build the talent pipe, and we must build it at scale. And that's where our 1 Million Coders program comes in, where we're building the requisite skill set. And you cannot do it just at the faculties in our universities. That's not the scale that we need. If we really need to own this, you need to look at what India, for example, has done. It's the scale. When you have scale, human resource at scale, you become very competitive. And I was saying to members of BOSA that I cannot understand for the life of me why a country like Ghana is not able to command even 1% of the business outsourcing, just call center outsourcing business. Business process outsourcing is a $3 trillion industry. And every time I call an airline and I call their hotline, it's someone with a very funny accent. It's either Filipino or Indian. Meanwhile, we've got Ghanaians here who have a better accent, who can run this process much better for us. It's important and critical that we look at building the talent resource at scale. The fourth thing is that we must regulate to enable and not eliminate. My understanding of President Mahama's reset agenda is that it's a legacy term for President Mahama. And so for all of us as his ministers, we must work towards legacy. When I took over that ministry, the youngest legislation there was 5 years old, and that was the cybersecurity legislation. But any other thing apart from the cybersecurity legislation, the next youngest was data protection, which was a 2012 legislation, so that was 14 years old. And then the rest of the legislation was 18 years old, 23 years old. How do you run an ICT and telecom and innovation ministry with ICT legislation that's 18 years old? It's not glamorous work. But as ranking member in parliament for 8 years in opposition, I kept asking my predecessor to look at review of the legislation and bring it up to speed. When I got the opportunity to serve my country, I decided that that is a critical thing I will do. I will walk my talk. I will work on the legislation. The ministry has 11 agencies, and I've decided that I'm rewriting all the 11 agency bills at the same time. Because for me, I see the interconnectivities in the agencies. I cannot redo my data protection legislation and not touch my cybersecurity legislation at the same time. Because cybersecurity and data protection work hand in hand. I cannot look to work on the NCA bill and not touch the NITA bill. Because both NCA and NITA are two sides of the same regulatory coin. And people don't realize that agencies like even the Ghana Meteorological Agency sit under the ministry. The Postal and Courier Services. Kofi Annan ICT Center has been in this country for almost 2 decades without any enabling legislation backing it. We're talking about artificial intelligence and all the things that we're talking about. So we're passing an emerging technologies bill. We're dealing with misinformation and disinformation. So we are passing an information integrity bill. We want to do data harmonization because today the private sector needs information. You need to move from one regulator or one data regulator to the next to get information. And even amongst them, we have about 48 data controllers or data regulators in the country. Imagine that each one wants to interconnect. It means each of the 48 have to have 47 unique connections. That is a maze of confusion. And so as minister, I said, we will do a data harmonization act. We go to parliament and mandate every data processor to connect to a central national data hub, a data exchange, via API call, built on the National Identity Authority's, the NIA's database as a single source of truth. So when you need any information, whether it's from the Bank of Ghana or the NCA, you make a request to that data exchange hub. The hub has a connection, an API call to all the various players. So one request is served by the 48 connections to that hub. It makes it easy for everyone who is working, but it also allows us to standardize and harmonize our ecosystem. And so that's what we're doing. So 15 bills. We put out the bills in September last year and asked for quotes. Maybe again, my understanding of legislation, the process in Ghana to pass a law is that the ministry works on this bill, takes it to cabinet, cabinet approves it, the minister then works with the Attorney General, and then lays it before Parliament. That's the only time the public gets to hear about the bill. And then you submit your bills, your memos to Parliament, and Parliament, the select committee, will masticate it and work on it. I've sat in Parliament, this is my 10th year, and I've seen how work has gone on at that committee. And I thought that, look, if I was rewriting the next 10 years of Ghana's future, Parliament will normally give you a 14-day window to send in your memos. Why don't I give another opportunity to the same industry that I came from to have their say even before it gets to Parliament? So I flipped the script and published all the 15 zero drafts. Maybe that's my offense. Because the zero drafts were published in September. We got hundreds of memos from across the world.